It's me. Hi, I'm Matt Rather, it's me. Welcome to another year of Overthinking Eurovision. It's been an eventful off-season for us. Last fall, I got married to an amazing woman. She's brilliant, she's beautiful, she's... honey, can you scroll down just a little more? Thank you. She's excellent at operating the teleprompter. And producer Matt Belinkie had an exciting year as well, making it all the way to episode 890 of the One Piece anime and completing the whole Cake Island arc. So basically, major life events for us both.
Wedding cake!
On May 14th, 161 million people watched Kalush Orchestra win Eurovision with an insane 631 points. But in a way, the true winner that night wasn't Ukraine. And it wasn't even the guy selling Ukrainian flags outside the arena, although that guy is sitting on a yacht right now. It was Armenia's Rosa Linn, aka Mumford and Daughter.
Snapping 1, 2, where are you?
At the time, it didn't look like Snap was much of a success. It placed 20th out of 25 countries in the grand final with just 61 points, fewer than 10% of the points Stefania received. And 40 of those points were from the jury. Now, on the one hand, Armenia hadn't even made the grand final in their previous two appearances, so finishing 20th isn't that bad. But Rosa had felt that the song was destined for greater things.
And as the votes were going, nothing for us, I was like, this doesn't feel right.
Despite featuring the most inspiring escape sequence since the Shawshank Redemption, people just weren't that into Snap. But then, something happened. In late August, Snap became the 12th Eurovision song in history to enter the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at 82. It hit number 21 on the UK singles chart, and in October, it was announced that Rosa Linn was going to open for Ed Sheeran, and she made her American television debut on James Corden's Late Late Show. By January 1st, Snap had over 400 million streams on Spotify, making it the second most streamed Eurovision song ever, behind only Duncan Lawrence's Arcade. And speaking of Duncan Lawrence, Rosa recorded a duet with him.
That escalated quickly.
It's not completely unheard of for a Eurovision song to explode in popularity only after the contest is over. In 1996, the United Kingdom finished 8th out of 23 countries. Not a bad showing, but certainly nothing special. But decades later, BuzzFeed would rank Gina G's entry as the 25th greatest dance song of the 1990s.
Just a little bit more.
Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit remains the last British Eurovision entry to hit number 1 on the UK charts. Oh, sorry Sam Ryder, you were so close. It made it to number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 in February 1997, 9 months after Eurovision. But in general, you expect the songs that do well in the contest to be the ones that people want to keep listening to. On May 15th, the day after the contest, here were the most streamed Eurovision entries on Spotify. All of these 7 songs placed in the top 11 of the Eurovision final. By the way, you might notice that Moldova and Serbia are absent here, even though they were 2nd and 4th in the popular vote. Well, Spotify only debuted in Eastern Europe back in 2020, and other streaming services are more popular in a lot of places out there. So Spotify per se isn't a perfect measure of global popularity, but basically, songs that did well in the contest got played a lot on Spotify and other streaming services. Now, compare that to the most streamed Eurovision songs on Spotify exactly 6 months later. Snap got 2,309,207 streams in a single day. That's more streams than Stefania got the day after its victory, and roughly 29 times more streams than the second most popular song on that same day. You might say that Snap really broke out, much like Rosa Linn broke through that wall. So what happened? Well, TikTok happened. In late July, the BBC reported that Snap had been used in 360,000 TikTok clips. As an example, it cited this engagement video, which had over 17 million views. According to the bride-to-be, it's such a good song and we're going to have it at our wedding now. First of all, congratulations. My sincere wedding advice is that you build in a little time after the ceremony to be alone with your spouse and take in the awesome thing that you just did. Secondly, girl, have you actually listened to this song? This is a breakup song, not a love song. As Rosa said, I think we've all been at a snapping point when it felt like there's no way out and that the entire world is just crumbling around you. It's all about self-love and accepting that you are enough. But sure, make it your first dance if you want. The big question is, why was this the song to go viral? Now, look, I'm old enough to have been MySpace friends with Tom, so I'm not the guy you want explaining how things go viral on TikTok. But we threw the question out to Reddit, and they had some interesting opinions. First of all, it's not quite accurate to say that the song went viral on TikTok. It was a remix of the song that really took off, if you call increasing the speed 35% to be remixing.
Snapping 1, 2.
The internet tells me that this style of sped up music is also called nightcore, which is kind of an ironically intense sounding name for something that sounds like it's for babies with ADD. Just kidding, you can't diagnose ADD in babies. Unless they were me. You can find nightcore versions of almost any song, often paired with a random anime image for some reason.
You got to know when to hold up.
The high and fast nightcore version of Snap has been used over 1.3 million times on TikTok, compared to about 300,000 times for the original track. Now, on Spotify, the original song is the more popular version, but the high and fast remix still has more streams than any Alvin and the Chipmunks song ever. Truly impressive. As for the appeal of this song, a lot of people agree its simplicity is a strength on TikTok. No complicated chords, not many notes in the melody, and the lyrics are basically a nursery rhyme. At Eurovision, something so straightforward wasn't going to wow people. This wasn't a diva showcase like Hold Me Closer. But on TikTok, wowing people isn't the point. TikTokers are looking for background music with a vibe. The very things that held Snap back in the competition make it perfect to be a soundtrack for other people's content.
Snapping 1, 2.
And it was especially perfect for one particular type of video, reveals, which happened to be a very popular category. The 1, 2, where are you lyric lent itself to everything from before and afters,
Where are you? It's feeling alive.
to makeup removals,
Snapping 1, 2. Where are you?
to color palettes,
It's feeling alive.
and of course, peekaboo. Also, this indie folk style is having a moment. Snap kind of sounds like the Vance Joy song Riptide, right? It shocked me to learn that Riptide was actually from 2013. It was released only a few days after Emily DeForest won Eurovision with Only Teardrops, but it peaked on the Billboard Global 200 in September 2022, more than 9 years later. But there were a bunch of songs that could have taken off on TikTok and didn't. Give That Wolf a Banana came pre-packaged with a silly dance. Hold Me Closer could have been the anthem for million breakup videos. However, Snap had one thing going for it that no other Eurovision song did. A specific date in the lyrics.
Since June 22nd, my heart's been on fire.
When Rosa was asked what happened on June 22nd, she answered,
It's the day I realized I would never see the person I love again.
very sad, but also very fortunate, because June 22nd was the perfect time for the song to get a viral push. It was about a month after Eurovision, so the spotlight on Ukraine, Spain, and the UK was fading. And it was the beginning of summer when people were looking for a fun bop to listen to with their windows rolled down. And sure enough, right on June 22nd was when Rosa finally surpassed Chanel as the queen of Eurovision. After that, the song just kept building momentum. Check out this Google Trends chart. The song had a mini spike after Eurovision, but by early June, it had basically died away. It wasn't until June 22nd that Snap really took off. Now, some of you might think this is just a funny coincidence, but consider the case of Earth, Wind & Fire. This is a band that has sold 90 million records, won 6 Grammys, and released 21 studio albums. That's a pretty impressive body of work, right? And take a look at their Google Trends chart. Any idea what that massive spike is? That spike that corresponds to September 18th through September 24th? That one mention of the 21st night of September has done more to introduce their music to Gen Z than anything else they've ever done. I'm telling you, people love to share songs with dates in them when those dates roll around. And we honestly believe that in the case of Snap, calling out June 22nd gave the song the boost it needed to truly catch fire. How much do you want to bet that one of this year's Eurovision acts puts a random date in their lyrics? If they do, remember, we called it. Last year, we did a video pointing out that in recent years, winning Eurovision seems to lead to mainstream success. In light of the Rosa Linn thing, we have a new thesis. Winning Eurovision has nothing to do with mainstream success, and TikTok is all that matters. Yes, Duncan Lawrence won Eurovision with Arcade in 2019, and that song hit number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100. But it didn't get there until September of 2021, nearly 16 months after Eurovision. What happened during those 16 months is millions of Draco Malfoy stans embraced Arcade as the theme song of their favorite emo bad boy. I'm not kidding. There's a whole Draco subculture that adopted this song and used it for thousands of videos. And although Måneskin became international rock and fashion icons after winning Eurovision in 2021, it wasn't their winning song, Ziti e Buoni, that made it happen. It was Beggin', a 2017 cover song that TikTok rediscovered and fell in love with. Now, of course, it's probably not a coincidence that Duncan Lawrence and Måneskin won Eurovision and then went viral on TikTok. The more exposure you get, the greater a chance that someone will use you in a viral TikTok that inspires a bunch of other viral TikToks. Think of Eurovision as kindling and TikTok as a bonfire that can burn for months. The more of a splash you make at Eurovision, the more kindling you get to try and start the real fire. Though I'm not sure how water and kindling and fire go together. Just go with it. Don't get hung up on the metaphor. This raises an interesting possibility. We've naturally assumed that most songs in Eurovision are trying to, win Eurovision. But what if in the future, a lot of the Eurovision songs are trying to win TikTok, and Eurovision is just free publicity? That might lead to different kinds of entries and different rollouts for them, designed to peak in the early summer rather than in mid-May. So maybe from now on, we can crown 2 Eurovision winners. In 2022, Kalisz Orchestra won the glass microphone, but Rosa Linn won the glass music note. One more thing. This year, we're using a Discord server to keep in touch with some of our fans who have way too much time on their hands. Does that describe you? Email us at eurovision@overthinkingit.com for an invite, and come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. Together, we'll subject the world's greatest song contest to a level of scrutiny it probably doesn't deserve. When I hear Nightcore, I immediately think of Night Court, the hit 80s sitcom beloved by millions, including a young Matt Rather. What? It's being revived in 2023? Go make your own culture, Generation Z, and keep your grubby vaping hands off mine.